rein in die Olga. Wir beißen uns da jetzt durch. Und lassen uns jetzt schön von allen Teammates ordentlich zulullen.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohely, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
Ja, hast du, Jesse.
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So...
Ja, da müssten die doch eigentlich bloß schaffen, dass dieser Great Spirit, weil das ist ja bei diesen Alien-Planeten so, da ist der ja so komprimiert, diese ganze Energie, und nicht so wie auf Dana, wo das halt sich überall verteilt hat. Die müssen also irgendwie schauen, dass diese komprimierte Energie sich verteilt, dann hat er keinen Willen mehr, und dann kann man ihn kaputt hauen.
I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that
Oh,
either.
wow, Jesse.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there will be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
Jo. Da sprichst du was Gutes an. Wenn es ein bisschen anders vom Pacing wäre, vom Erzählen und das flüssiger gewesen wäre, hätte es mich bestimmt nicht so genervt, wie es jetzt einfach ist, dass man halt jetzt gerade so zugeschwallt wird.
You both seem awfully calm.
Und dann hätte ich das auch wahrscheinlich besser in mir aufnehmen können. Ich hoffe, ihr wisst, wie ich das meine. Weil gerade ist das so viel Schwall, bla 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 bla, das ist too much, das geht mir nicht in die Birne. Du kannst das gar nicht verarbeiten, weil du rennst halt nur von Cutscene zu Cutscene und zwischendrin ploppt noch die ganzen Skits auf.
But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can
ja, ich muss halt sagen, das einzige Tales, das ich jemals durchgezockt hatte, war Symphonia. Und das ist halt so viele Jahre her, dass ich das durchgespielt habe. Ich erinnere mich da nicht mehr groß dran. Ne?
Rinwell,
That great
Und
spirit
sonst habe ich
worries
bis
me
jetzt
too,
alle,
though.
die ich so gespielt habe, immer irgendwann zur
Dana's
Seite
will feels
gelegt.
so warm and inviting.
Meistens war es halt einfach, weil es so langweilig für mich war, das Gameplay. Und langweiliges Gameplay, also wie ich gesagt habe, das Kämpfen, ne, einfach nur Arte auf eine Taste legen und jeder Kampf einfach nur XXXXXX, sonst nichts machen, in Verbindung mit jede Menge Blabla.
There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
Ich will die Ausrufezeichen-Menschen nicht anlabern. Die muss ich nicht anlabern, oder? Das wären ja bloß Sidequests, hoffe ich mal.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memory started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad and running away from the truth.
Jo, Manzi, grüß dich. Ja, im normalen Playthrough willst du halt mal vorankommen. Ich kann es aber auch so verstehen, also ich weiß nicht, ob es bei anderen auch so ist, aber ich werde hier gerade so zugetextet, dass ich gar keine Lust habe, noch nebenbei Nebenstory oder so zu machen. Weil mir das schon reicht. Das ist, ich will auch mal was vom Spiel haben und nicht einfach nur einen Film sehen.
For obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
Ist so.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
Fehlt ja nur noch Dolaim, oder?
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like
Yo,
this.
Dennis, let's go, da musst du tauschen.
Your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask.
You don't even need to ask.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
Geht mir genauso, Moonball, aber wir müssen das Spiel endlich mal fertig bringen.
She considered me, a Danan, as a real person.
Da ist Wanzi. Ja, gestern haben wir über sie gesprochen, ne? Keiner kannte sie.
I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant. When we were talking
das Tales-Spiel, in dem am allermeisten geredet wird.
Stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is
Aber ich dachte, ich kann mal vielleicht wenigstens 3 Meter laufen.
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dana's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit
Ich kann nur
is what's
sagen, dass
behind
Jan
Dana's
unschuldig
pending
ist.
destruction, then
Heiraten und bumsen die jetzt alle, Steffo?
Shion's
Nee,
thorns are the great
Alphen kann
spirit?
Xion ja noch nicht bumsen, weil die
It's
müssen
not
ja erst
actually
noch
on Rena like we
ihre
thought?
Dornen loswerden.
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
while the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
Ich weiß, dass Jan nie unschuldig ist, aber ich weiß das. Ich kenne den Jan schon mein halbes Leben lang.
That flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own.
Du glaubst doch nicht ernsthaft, dass in dem Spiel noch irgendwas passiert außer Gelaber, Dennis?
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks
Als
to
ihr zusammen im
Naori.
Buddelkasten gespielt habt. Du meinst schon so ein Sandkasten und kein Kasten, in dem ein paar Flaschen rum sind, oder?
Hevric 35 has been observing the great astral spirit this whole time.
Ich kenne jeden Zentimeter von
To
Jan.
fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
Modplayer, vielen Dank dir für den Raid. Wie geht's dir, mein Großer? Ab zum nächsten Gelaber. Yay! Ne, bei uns sagt man Sandkasten. Dann spielst du Harry Potter 2 für 4 1. Vielleicht mache ich das irgendwann mal. Wäre bestimmt funny. Ich speichere mal. Nicht, dass jetzt irgendwie die PlayStation sagt, ach, ich stürze jetzt mal ab oder so. Ach, mir geht's auch okay, Großer.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational. It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it.
Jetzt machen die Zeremonie und diesmal hilft Shion, dass Alphen halt nicht komplett eskaliert dabei und dann können die den großen Spirit da besiegen.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renna's Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renna's Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegus.
It is likely that the Renna's Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
Oh, jetzt gehen wir ins Herz von Bionis.
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Renna, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Renna's great
Ja,
astral
ist es.
spirit
Es ist
is
irgendwie so
already
Xenoblade
integrated
und
with
Final
the planet.
Fantasy 9 auf Wish bestellt.
What will happen to Renna once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Renna is predicted to collapse.
Ne?
Even in such a
Alphen hat
scenario,
das
the
Monado.
energy will disperse, and the Great
Kisara
Spirit will
ist
likely
quasi
not
einfach Ryan.
reform.
Die schreit ja immer, it's Ryan
So you're
time.
saying that even if we manage to beat the Great
Oh mein
Spirit
Gott.
without destroying it,
Shion
Will
ist
still be
einfach
in danger?
Schala. Es ist einfach Xenoblade.
Likely,
What the fuck?
The collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Havrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all.
Rinwell ist Melia. Das
Fix our
passt einfach
starship.
alles so gut.
We're
Ach du
going to
Scheiße.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man.
Futaba ist auch dabei. Wenigstens ist sie mal nicht minderjährig. Boah, ey. Leute, wir sehen uns im nächsten Part. Ich küsse euch auf die Nase.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait.
Rest up and wait.
Once
So,
the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Renna right away.
so jetzt. Ciao.
Where have you been? Been searching all along, confessing while alone.